All right, today we are going to interview model Nayana Vishwa, a high fashion editorial and runway model who not only in 4 short years has been published over 60 times, but has also graced the runway in New York, LA, and San Francisco Fashion Week. Not only are we going to dive deep on posing, finances, but of course, the mindset it takes to create a successful modeling career. Welcome, Nayana, to the Modeling Secrets podcast. I really appreciate you joining us today and being here with us. Let's start out by just telling us a little bit about who you are and some of the experiences that you've had in your career.
Yes, Chris, I have been modeling for 4 years now. So in 2018, I started modeling because I was just, I mean, taking a step back. I'm a full-time engineer.
Mm.
Um, I work at Intel. And 4 years back, I was just looking for a creative outlet for myself and just looking to have some fun. I used to go to these local meetups where models are required, and I used to model and stuff. But then, as time went by, it got more and more serious, and especially this year, it became a lot more serious because I got a direction on my way. I got some directions, so that's how I am. I am where I am today, and I have been modeling basically in the San Francisco Bay Area, San Jose, and my experience so far has been very positive. So, what I would advise models that start out are, uh, if you are going, if your aim is a runway, then know what are all the shows that happen in your city, local. You can just come up with you can just know the names of the shows just via Instagram. For example, San Francisco Fashion Week, you just type it out in the Instagram, you get a bunch of links, and it's easy to follow their Instagram page, and they have open casting calls all the time. So like this in your city, if you get to know the shows and target them, once you go to one or two shows, then there you meet other models, other designers, and once you connect with them, you get to know a bunch of other shows in your vicinity. So that's how you start locally.
All right, so you've been modeling for almost 5 years,
Mhm.
and we had a conversation a little bit before this, which I found like really truly amazing. Everything that you've accomplished in that short time period, being published over 60 times,
Yeah.
averaging about 15 to 20 times per year, and that's like already that alone is like wow, that's amazing.
Mhm.
Tell us how some of the magazines you've been published in and what do you contribute to your success as being published so many times and so frequently?
Uh, yeah, being published so many times, initially, I didn't really plan on these numbers, and I didn't really work that I need to be published a certain number of times. I was just going after creativity, and I want to do a certain look and add to my portfolio. I would reach out to my local photographers, designers, and it's a lot of work, because especially when you try to have a bunch of people on a certain day and fix a photo shoot, people drop off, or people get busy, or it's all not certain, but still you have to push yourself and talk to more people, do your networking, build your relationships. Once a photo shoot goes on well, if you have done a good job, then the same photographers, makeup artists, or the designers, they will be willing to work with you next. So that's what I mostly relied upon, because you can imagine, if I've done 60 editorials in the last 4 years within SF area, there may not I have not reached out to 60 different photographers or 60 different designers. It's mostly, some of them are the same set of team that
Hmm.
come along with you because they believe in you. So that's where you build a relationship. It matters a lot. So
Right.
that's how I could come up to this bigger number. But yeah, it's a lot of you. I used to come up with creative ideas, reach out to people, and then execute it.
So yeah, I think you said a few key components there is number one, you build a relationship with a small group of photographers and designers, and you become a likable person. They enjoy being in your presence.
Yeah.
They enjoy your personality, and also you bring into the table your own creative ideas, right?
Yeah.
So it's everyone coming together and putting their creativity in one big pot per se,
Mhm.
and going out and making it happen, right? So even that, so some of the models that reach out to me, they're just getting started. Maybe they don't know how to network yet. They don't know how to reach out to these amazing photographers and do these big creative shoots. What would you advise for someone to find advanced and experienced photographers and get them their attention to work with?
When I started with meetups. In the meetups, there are a mix of some are not so experienced photographers, and sometimes you do come across experienced photographers even in the meetups. So that is where I remember starting out. And after a while, it was all network based. Once an editorial is published, I would ask my current photographer that I want to reach out to more photographers like yourself. So can you give me some recommendations? Ask my basically it starts out from my team. My photographer gives me a bunch of names, or my makeup artist gives me a bunch of other names. So I go ahead and reach out to them, and from them I get it branches my network branches even more. So this is how you build your network from a very small set of people to larger and larger and larger set of people.
I saw one of your Facebook posts about walking on the runway and having confidence on the runway, but off the runway being um, having humility, right?
Yes, yes.
Being humble um,
Yep.
behind the stage. So, how has is that attitude really bad in the industry? Are you meeting models that are not humble and have this
Yeah.
"I'm better than you" attitude? Like,
Oh,
how does that come into play?
and I have also seen models with that kind of overconfidence. And like I said, confidence is great, but not overconfidence and not arrogance. People who show arrogance are getting cancelled, and they will not even know why. They will not even know why I'm not getting called anymore. They will not even know why I'm being avoided by some people, because they've cancelled you by your arrogance and nothing else.
You've been in lots of runway shows from
Mm-hmm.
LA to San Francisco to New York. I saw you worked with Patricia Field as a,
Yep.
Emmy award winning fashion designer and
Yeah.
from Sex and the City. So you've done really big granular things, and being in these shows, working with these designers, how does that feel?
Especially the Patricia Field you mentioned, it felt like out of the world. So the way Patricia Field happened, if you go on their Instagram page, that's all I did. I was following them, or during the New York Fashion Week, somebody told me that they have a casting call. So Patricia Field's casting call was shared on their Insta story for 24 hours. I mean, that's all the story last. And at that time, I applied. I sent my portfolio website, my walk video to the email ID that the Patricia Field Instagram page had provided. So I didn't have any other agents, no personal connection, nothing. And then in 3 days, I got an email saying, you are selected and we want you for the fitting when you arrive here in the New York City. And so when went to New York City, I went to their office, and I'm not sure if I knew about her Emmy Award or any of her greatness, because I am from India. I am not from the United States. I don't know much about the Hollywood movies. Or even if I know, I just know the actors or actress. I don't know much about the directors and the designers and the technical, back end side of people. I went to their office, I did the fitting, and I came back to my room. And then I was sharing this with my roommates that, hey, I was at the Patricia Field office. They're like, who Patricia Field? The Emmy Award winner. Then I was like, what are you saying? And then I checked up Google, and then I came to know where I have gone or who I have met.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so even that's a key point too. Like you're not from America. You're born and raised in India. You come here and you're living now and you're creating these opportunities for yourself. And does that play a role being from another country and just looking at things through another perspective?
Probably because I I don't even know sometimes how big of a person I have met or how non-important a person is. I just know to be humble and nice to whoever I meet and not show any barriers or not show somebody is up or somebody is down. Sometimes I don't even know who is up and who is down. Probably that is making me seem neutral and not too desperate or anything in front of anyone. So maybe they are impressed that okay, somebody is humble and confident. So these two are playing key role.
Got you. Yeah, that's very important. I agree with you on that. Not being too desperate or coming across too strong.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're doing email or messaging someone online, when there's uh, when there tends to be over aggressiveness and just straight, blunt to the point, like, "Hey, give me an opportunity," you can really shy people away just by not having the correct words in your messaging. So you classify yourself as an editorial, high fashion runway model.
Yeah.
Why high fashion? Why runway and not commercial modeling?
Editorial and runway is something I've always like craved for since the childhood. You see these runway models walking with a lot of attitude and confidence, and I'm sure uh, many girls or many models aspire for that. And commercial, not because I don't have the time. I'm a full-time employed somewhere and I just don't have the time between Monday to Friday. All I can do modeling is on Saturdays and Sundays and my vacation time. And Saturday, Sunday are the runway casting, fitting shows. So that's where I fit in my time schedule, allows me to only be part of runways. And editorials are when I, like I said, all the editorials I've done, I have approached my team and I have requested for the dates for Sundays, Saturday, Sunday. So my schedule really allowed me for these two categories only. And anyway, I'm interested in those two only. So that's how I didn't bother about commercial yet.
Yes, yes. And you've done all of this without a visa, which also prevents you from getting signed to an agency. So as a freelance model, accomplishing everything that you have done, and do you want to be signed? What is the next step for you?
My next step, I want to be signed, and I want to be signed with an agency that understands my schedule and that doesn't push me for a weekday, because I know many agencies, and it's also practical that they do their work between Monday to Friday and they want the model then. So I want to be signed with an agent that understands my requirement, and then yeah, that's my goal. And with an agent for runway and editorial, not really for commercial. I don't mind commercial. If they have commercial work for me Saturday, Sunday, I'm okay. But I would tell them that my first criteria is my schedule and my interest are editorial and runway. That's what I would tell them and go from there.
Many models, they want to live a lifestyle in which they can be a full-time model, traveling, doing the editorial shoots, doing the runways, even maybe some commercial work. They look at it as this big dream of only being a model
Mhm.
full-time career, and here you are only modeling on the weekends and doing 10 times more work than most models ever get to see in a year. um, is there a pathway for models to be able to transition out of work, do you feel like, or should all models have some type of job or some type of business that they do outside of
I
taking
would
photos?
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I would highly vouch and recommend the models to have another job that supports them financially. Is because in modeling, I don't know how it feels like to be like a high-end model, like the Kendall Jenner or Gigi and Bella. Probably they are making enough money from modeling. I don't know, but if you are not there at the level that we are all in, to rely on modeling financially gets hard. I think it gets really hard because you may not get consistent work in modeling. You may be on and off. It really depends on the modeling season. Sometimes you have back to back work, and sometimes you don't have much work. Um, so given all this, I would highly recommend models to have a business or to have something else also that financially supports you, and then chase your modeling dreams as well, because it is possible to chase your modeling dreams like how I have been doing. It's just how you plan your time and schedule and put consistent work. 60 editorial didn't happen in 1 year or 1 week, right? Sorry, did I go off?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm saying that 60 plus editorials happened over 4 years. That means each year I did 20. That means each and every weekend I was planning and occupied. So that's how you plan and be consistent, and you can chase your modeling dreams without making it your full time. I think also making this a full time can be so stressful because you when you start off modeling, you don't have enough money, and if you are chasing this full time without money, I think that can be really stressful.
Yeah, speaking of which, tell me, we know about your success now. We know you've done the shows, you've worked with major brands and designers, you've been published many times. What's an example or a story you can share where things weren't so easy? You've experienced failure or struggle, and you overcame that.
Failure or struggle and overcame that.
Or, was it easy from you from the beginning, or did you have any challenges?
No, not at all easy. I think my challenges was really in runway, um, uh, because I am not really tall. I don't share too much of my stats online or with anybody other than the casting director. But yeah, I am not really tall enough for runway. Um, and I do not get through every audition that I go for. And even tall models also don't get through every audition that they attend. Of course, there are rejections, but there are more rejections when you are not too tall enough. So those rejections did play in my mind. Like it did also make me question, should I really be doing this? What is my goal? Why should I come here and get rejected like this? I have so these kind of uh, things that can bring your confidence down. That is what I have faced and overcome it. Yes, you still keep pushing forward, and there are people that accept you, and then you get a break. And even after the break, you will still see rejections. It's not like once you get a break and then everybody starts to accept you. You will still get rejected here and there, but you have to keep pushing it. I think even this last weekend, I was like really upset. Even after my New York success and everything, somewhere I went to audition in our very Bay Area, and somewhere I was not taken, and I was very upset. But yeah, I spent a day over getting upset, which was this weekend, and I'm back at work from Monday, and now I don't care. Now I'm thinking, what's my next audition? I just go for it.
Experiencing struggles and getting rejected and still having the courage to push through and keep going. And maybe you have a moment to yourself. Maybe you cry. Maybe you get frustrated. You have someone to vent to, but you have to also have the faith that another opportunity is on the horizon. Is there something that you would like to share or a important note that you think is important for models to know and understand?
Models, when it comes to when shoots and editorials, I think they need to practice their posing. I think in all your tutorials, you have gone over it a lot. That practicing posing is very important. If you just come to the photo shoot unprepared, then don't expect good results. So practice before before every photo shoot. I practice. Even today, I don't think that I have done so many editorials or I can just walk in. No. If tomorrow I have a shoot, I practice today. And before a runway, I think 2-3 days before a runway, I practice my walk before every single runway show. So keeping that practice is very important. That is one thing. Second thing is pushing through the rejections. Okay, you got rejected. Feel sad, wipe your tears, and see what's next. And if you really feel like redirecting your career, then probably you can still do it, but you should be aware of what you're doing. Just don't be in this cycle of, oh, I got rejected, I'm lost. Don't be lost for too long. Be lost for a day, pick yourself back up, decide what you want to do, and go ahead.
I've seen a lot of your posts, your photos, your videos that you post on Instagram and Facebook, and it's very creative. It's very just different types of images, different outfits. They also seem very unique, one from the other, and as well as your poses, from going from very simple to maybe a little bit outside the box. How do you come up with the different angles and posing that you do in your photos?
This is all by planning ahead. So when I reach out to photographers or photographers reach out to me, we all already discuss the mood board and the creative idea and what we are going for. And I specifically talk to photographer on my posing, like what posing are you expecting from me, or what. I also talk to designers before the shoot. What are your clothing like? Does it have like flowy material where I can do a certain kind of posing to show off the flowiness of the outfit, or is it very streetwear and just pants and shirts where you have to do a different kind of posing? So I have an idea of what are the outfits that are going to be in the shoot, what what is the photographer like. I also go through the photographer's profile and see what are the his previous work, what kind of angles or lighting he uses, and based on that I do my homework and come up with my posing. So when I say I practice my posing before a shoot, it's not just up in the air that okay, I just get a bunch of photos from Google and practice those poses. When I say I practice, it means I have gone through the profile of that particular photographer and that particular designer's design for this photo shoot, and I curate my poses keeping all these on mind. So that is how I think I've been able to come up with a variety of posing. And sometimes you may not know these details ahead of time. In that case, you just go and you just do what suits the best on the day of the shoot.
Yeah, so doing your research and catering everything that you're doing when you're showing up for a photo shoot or a video project that is specific to that brand, that
Mm-hmm.
designer, that makeup artist. And of course, when you guys all come together and you're creating those images, they they notice and they can see that okay, this model's really prepared. They did their
Yeah.
homework and they're executing it very well. Congratulations on all of your success. I mean, just watching you work, and I feel like you're posting new photos every single day, and everything you've been doing is just truly amazing. So, thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. And I have learned a lot from your videos. I have been for your modeling 101 posing classes. I have attended that virtually. I think it was a COVID time. There was people couldn't come all the
Yeah.
way to you in with it. There were some virtual classes. I've taken your classes and I've learned from your classes. So that was my first virtual learning. I was at those classes even before Kokorosha model camp that I attended in New York. So I have learned a lot from you and your tips. Thanks a lot for that.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I mean, that means a lot. And I'm glad that you're receiving value out of it. Now here we are, I'm learning from you, right? So it comes back around full circle. So hopefully
Yeah.
in the near future, when we're both available, and you can help me with another workshop and be at the front of the room teaching this time.
Sure, sure, Chris. I would love to. I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely. Well, again, thank you for being with us tonight. And I hope that you continue to have amazing success. I look forward to seeing you on the next billboard or magazine cover that I'm sure it's on its way.
Thank you.